Hi, today we're working on a Ruger model 1022 rifle. This is the 50th anniversary rifle, and when you buy the gun, this particular gun, it came without front sights. So today's project is to go ahead and mount iron sights on this barrel. So what we did was we bought these sights from Williams sight company in Michigan, and we kind of figured out that we wanted the rear sight 2 1/4 inches away from the receiver, and the front sight at 3/8 inch back from the muzzle tip. So we just kind of like laid it on there. First we put some protective tape on there for marking purposes, and we just kind of like laid it on there, taped it down, and looked down the barrel to see if it was going to look okay. Once we did that, we marked the front and back edges of the sight. And again, the same thing over here. We marked the front and back edges of the sight. And then on this one as well, what we did, you probably can't see it, is in the center of the rear hole, we marked where the center of that hole is. On the front, what we did is we actually removed the sight and measured from the front edge of the sight to the center of the hole. There's only one hole on this one. And then we basically just took that dimension, which was 9/16 of an inch, and went back from that front mark 9/16 of an inch, and then we used the sight itself to transfer a line across the barrel. And let's see if I can get this off. Not doing much damage. Alright, so what we did is we marked the 9/16 line back, just laid the sight on there like this. Once we had the mark there, I just used the front edge of the sight to transfer that line across the top edge of the barrel. We're not looking for the exact center of the barrel yet. We just want to know where the line is to be. Okay, we're going to do the same thing back on the rear sight, and we'll be back. Okay, so what we've got here is we've marked location for the holes. That's the rear sight mount. Again, this is the 1022, and this is the markings where those 2 holes are going to be drilled into the barrel. The rear mark is the aft portion of the mount, which is 2 1/4 inches away from the receiver. And then the same is done up here. This only has 1 hole for the front sight ramp, and that center line is the mark where that 1 hole is going to be drilled into the barrel so that the screw can be installed and hold that front ramp on. These screws are 648 thread. Normal thread size for number 6 it would be a 632. I believe 640 would be considered extra fine or fine. 648 must be something the gun manufacturers come up with, special thread. So we had to find a special tap for that. Alright, so we're going to disassemble the barrel off the stock and proceed on. So stand by. Okay, I just wanted to do a quick shot here so you know what we're dealing with. That's the front sight ramp. That's the rear sight ramp. We've got a fire sight there for the rear. There's a front bead. That was the original rear mount for some type of other rear sight that came with the base. And once again, these are Williams fire sights that we purchased from Williams out in Michigan. So those are the parts that are going to be mounted onto the gun. Those are the small screws that are used to hold these things on. So like I said, we're going to get the barrel removed from the stock and proceed on. Okay, the barrel and receiver have been removed from the stock. And you can see the barrel and receivers right there. Put a couple of pieces of tape on it because I think the trigger mechanism, there's a pin in there that holds it in, and I really have no reason to take the trigger mechanism out. So I put a piece of tape so that pin doesn't fall out. There's also one screw that holds that barrel and receiver onto that stock, and the screw is located right there. When you go to remove it, you want to center the safety. Kind of center it, and then it'll fit through that slot right there. Next, we're going to remove these two screws that hold the barrel to the receiver. So we'll have the barrel hopefully by itself. So stand by. Okay, we removed the two screws that holds the barrel to the receiver. There they are right there, along with the screw that holds the barrel assembly to the stock. And then there's the little clamp that holds the barrel to the receiver. But when we try to pull it apart, it doesn't want to budge. So it might be an interference fit there, and I'm not sure that we want to disassemble that. If we can possibly do this without disassembling that, we're going to go ahead and try. So we'll see what happens. We'll try and get this set up and come back when we got something more set up. So stand by. Okay, we're back. We got this barrel. There's a receiver. This is for a 1022. We're drilling iron sights on it. This barrel came without iron sights. So what we did is we got this barrel set up in this drill fixture. This is a Forster Products drill fixture, and that's the instruction book for it. And what we did is, the way they have you do it is the barrel mounts on these V-blocks here. There's a V-block there and a V-block there. They have you measure the barrel where it's going to be mounted into the V-block, measure the diameter at that point, subtract the difference from the two, and then raise this front one by 0.707 of whatever the difference is. And what you end up there is your bore, because the barrel is tapered, your bore ends up parallel to the bottom of the fixture. Then you locate your where you want your sights, which we did. Then they have this arm that comes over the top, and there is also a little center punch that comes down, so that will actually pass through this hole, and you line it up with your mark on your barrel. Once you do that, you give it a little tap, you're ready to rock and roll, and you drill. And they have you pre-drill it. This is for a 6/48 thread, because that's what these sights come with. Once again, you gotta order a special tap for that. But you just pre-drill it with a 7/64 drill. Then you go in there with a number 31. And what you see there is your number 31 drill to depth. I used a little piece of tape to mark the depth. What I did basically was I put the 7/64 drill in there, marked where the top of the bushing was. I knew I wanted to go in about 180 thousandths. So once I knew where the top of the bushing was on the drill and it was touching the top of the barrel, I moved the tape up 180 thousandths, and that's my depth gauge. This fixture has got a little something extra here. It's got this part right there. That doesn't come with the standard fixture, and that I used on the bottom of the barrel. There's a flat spot here, which is 180 degrees from the top of the barrel, and it's perpendicular to the sides of the receiver. So I just took a Allen wrench. I raised this little movable piece up which I checked is perfectly parallel or perpendicular to the sides of the fixture. The fixture has one side that's fully machined, so that extra fixture is perfectly perpendicular to it. So I use that to reference a flat spot, so that my sights would come dead nut center on top. I also put a square up against the receiver to make sure everything looked good, but it did. So we've got the first hole drilled, and we need to tap it, but I haven't received my bottoming taps yet. So we'll proceed when we get the next set of stuff. Okay, we'll be back. Okay, so I thought I would show you before we go to the tapping procedure how we actually got these numbers. And like I say, all they have you do is they have you measure the barrel in the two areas where you're going to be mounting the where the V-blocks touch it of the fixture. And you subtract one diameter. In this case, the rear support point was 873. Front support point was 723. That's thousandths of an inch. Subtract one from the other was 150 thousandths. Times 0.707 is 106 thousandths. So this front V block is 106 thousandths higher than the rear. And that's what makes the bore parallel to the fixture. Then for the depth, at the back area where I was drilling the hole, the diameter barrel is 904. Half of that is 452. So now we're at the center line of the barrel. We know that the 22 caliber bore is 220 thousandths. Plus I figured 15 thousandths for rifling. So that brought us to 250 thousandths times 0.5 is 125 thousandths. So I subtracted 125 from the 452, and I was left with 327 thousandths to the bore. Well, obviously I didn't want to drill into the bore, so I came up with the point of the drill could be no deeper than 202 thousandths, leaving me about an eighth of an inch, just to be sure. So that's how we got these numbers, and that's how we got that first hole drilled. Alright, we'll be back. Okay, here we are. This is we're drilling a gun barrel for sights, and I wanted to show you how we determine the drill depth and how to mark the drill. We determined that we wanted to drill our depth at 200 thousandths. So this is the Forster drill jig. It's a drilling fixture for drilling gun barrels. Just for a quick review, in the front here, for the front sight, we determined that the diameter of the barrel is not marked on there. Is at the front sight is 707 thousandths. Half of that diameter is 353 thousandths, and then that's to the center line of the bore, and then half of the bore we figured at 125 thousandths, subtracting that from our 707 thousandths. We ended up at the front sight a depth of 150. Okay, which left us with a wall of 78 thousandths. Alright, so to mark that, basically all we did is lay the drill. Once we had the fixture in position, we laid the drill in there and just put a piece of tape on it. This is with the proper drill bushing, and just marked it with a piece of tape. Then what we did, that's to drill with a piece of tape, and we just trimmed down the tape so we wouldn't get a lot of interference. We determined our depth, and we laid the drill down and then laid another piece of tape across it. So now that top piece of tape is the 150 away from where the original piece of tape was. So you peel off the small piece of tape, and you're left with the large piece of tape, and you make a little flag. Wrap that around the drill. That's your drill depth. Alright? It's that simple. We'll show you how we'll go over marking where we mark the center of where we're going to drill. So stand by.